prop collections. This is actually very similar to the next exercise, which is called prop getters. And so we'll probably only do one of these exercises. I think we will do, let's do prop collections, and then I'll show you prop getters. So the situation here is we've got two mechanisms for toggling the component, and they share similar props. Like they're both going to have an aria expanded on these, and they're both going to have an on-click. And so there are sometimes when you're creating a render prop component, there are certain collections of props that make sense, or certain use cases, certain things that people are going to render that will always need certain props. And so you can provide useful collections of props that people can just apply to the thing that they render. Maybe a better example of this is in Downshift, where we're actually using prop getters, but the same idea applies. If we just look at the example here, pretty much every autocomplete is going to have an input, and so we have this collection of props that we want you to apply to the input that you render. Because once we leave ownership of the UI, we are not the ones applying props to things anymore. You have to be responsible for that. But for us to wire your input to the internal state of Downshift and all the click handlers and whatever else that we need you to apply those props for us. Also, there's get item props, so every item needs to have certain props for accessibility and stuff like that. So that's the basic idea of prop collections. Is it's just a useful feature to provide a collection of props that you'd normally use for certain use cases. Normally, you could actually accomplish those use cases without these collections of props. Your render prop should actually pass all the state and other helpers that are necessary to accomplish the task, but having these collections of props can be really useful. And so in step 5, I actually refactored that object that was inline to a function called getStateAndHelpers. In Downshift, this is actually a pretty sizable function. There's a lot of stuff that we pass to you. Here it's just 2. We're going to add another one here. But I kind of like having it separate so that I have one place to look for where those things are. And eventually we'll reuse that in other places. So that's one change from what you might have had. Yeah, that's the basic intro. Here's the usage example. So we have the toggler props, and we'll apply that to both the switch and the button so they can have the props that they need. Okay, any questions about this one? Okay, let's jump in. We'll go to tests, number 5. Swap out the final for the exercise and npm t to run the tests. And make that work.